I'm very blessed, and thank you, God, I've never had an STD. I've never had anything that's been transmitted. I'm very lucky. Then you push it to the limit. Okay, are you going to use condoms? Not going to use condoms. What are you going to do? How are you going to push that to a day-to-day basis? How do you get satisfied? How do you gratify yourself? And the answer is it's difficult. I've had to go to the hospital a few times. And the reason I had to go to the hospital, it's embarrassing, but it's honest, is from masturbating 6, 7, 8 times a day, which became very painful, extremely painful. And then you numb yourself, and then you start right back in the next day, putting yourself in situations to where they're unhealthy. In 2016, I was in Northern California, and I went online. I found someone to meet. I went to an apartment. I got to the apartment. I walked in the door. First thing that happened, somebody put a gun to the back of my head. And it was one of those moments where I thought, son of a bitch. The person robbed me. They took all the money I had. And there was a female there. She never said nothing when I walked in the door. And I walked out, and after that, I thought, wow, maybe I got the wrong site. Maybe I should have done a little bit more work. My mind was like, I got to have somebody. I need to do something. So you jeopardize yourself. Just like a drug addict or an alcoholic, we jeopardize ourselves. When you're driving down the street and you doing things such as masturbating or having sex, you're doing something like somebody else who's drunken on DUI. It might not sound like it's the same, but you're jeopardizing yourself and you're jeopardizing other people because you don't care at that moment. And then you surround yourself in relationships. Now, I'm not talking about someone that's momentarily, someone you met at a nightclub, someone you met at a restaurant, someone you met at a bar. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking if you start to see someone and spend some time with someone. Many times I'd spent time with women, and I know they took the fact that we had a lot of sex, a lot of fun, as crazy as could be. They took it that there was more of an emotional connection. And I was always very honest, whether that is a cop-out or whether that is justification, and let somebody know, look, this is purely sex to me. There ain't anything more. This is what's going to happen. If you feel like you're going to get closer, that's your problem, not mine. Well, after I started dealing with all these issues, I realized that was wrong because they had their own issues. It was two very dysfunctional people spending time together, and neither one of us was getting any help. With my sex addiction, it also put me in a position to not be able to succeed in life because I would work with certain people. I'd end up sleeping with them, and they were the bosses. Well, that's not going to last too long. I would also, if you hurt me and you were my friend and you did something to me when I was growing up, well, I was going to hurt you. The easiest way to hurt you was your wife or your daughter. And in my life, I've done those things with friends after they got divorced, still no justification, and with a couple of friends' daughters when I got older and they got older. And it was kind of like, okay, you want to play games? Let's play games. And the great thing is everything is voluntary. There's never any coercion. That's not something I could ever do or would ever do. But coming from a sex addict, people say, well, that's a cool thing. No, it's not. Many of the times when you're dealing with your sex addiction and you're acting out sex, it's not with someone you want to have sex with. It's with someone who's there. It's a body. It's there to help you get through that moment.